Whatever God leads you into ministry, He's going to give you a vision of what you need to do to help people.
You're now watching Ministry Day to Day with Pastor Willie and Minister Claudette Monnet, a show designed to encourage and help leaders that believe they're called to full-time ministry. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now let's tune in to Pastor and Minister Monnet.
Hello, this is Ministry from Day to Day with
Pastor Willie and Claudette Monnet.
And we'd like to talk to you today and offer you some encouragement for all of those who feel like or know that they have a call to full-time ministry. We've been in ministry for 33 years. We've been married for 33 years and in ministry for 33 years. My husband started off in the level of leadership for 7 years. He started that after he had been training to be a minister long before that. But he was basically called to men.
You know, God blessed me, and I probably need to say this to y'all at the beginning, that God blessed me to be in ministry 13 years before the 7. He called me out with a brother that said, come help him to develop a ministry. I did those 7 years with my wife at that time because we got married almost 2 months after the brother had asked me to come and help him. Now, because God wanted us to be trained and to understand what we needed to do together at that time, so by God bringing us into a group of people, there were very many opportunities for ministry. My wife did with the children, the choir, what have you. I did the men's Bible study, discipleship class, which plays a serious role in understanding ministry. So we did that together with 8 children. And we understand, together, we understand what it takes to give your life totally unto the Lord and still be able to deal with children and everything else.
Yes, it was a total sacrifice. And at the same time, because we were a blended family, I had 4 girls and my husband had the 4 boys. So we were training and learning one another at the same time we were starting a ministry. We started off in a little chapel, a funeral chapel, uptown in the New Orleans area, and eventually we went to Chef Mentor Highway. But the setup was the same. I knew that I was called to teach and work with the children. My husband knew that he was called to the area of discipleship and to men. So we started off, just with what we had been trained with in those 7 years at our former church. Went through all type of training as far as learning what the apostolic ministry involved and all kinds of stuff. But eventually we were called out to start our own ministry.
We enjoyed that time being with other people, even before God brought us with this group that we've had now for about 30 years, because a lot of them came in when they were real young and stayed and still here today. We are training their children. So God helped us during that time. Most important, you have to learn how to love people, because the need that people have, you should be able to go into ministry knowing that you are going to be a living sacrifice for them. You're not going to go in looking to make yourself rich, make yourself big. God going to handle all that. He has the level He wants you to be. But you have to go in always looking out for the people.
And that involved all of the people, it involved families, because when the men came, the women and the children followed. So we had to have something for the women to do. And we found, and a lot of other women found out, although they had been in the world, a lot of them had never done anything in church, they had gifts and talents. So these women were able to start different ministries like dance ministry. They were able to start prayer ministry, intercessory, women's ministry. We also had a house for single women and a house for single men. All of these things to help them to grow in the things of God. So we were very busy. It was never a dull moment dealing with people, because people problems come up all the time, and they had to learn how to deal with conflict. Even some of them had young families. So some of the men had never raised children. Some of the men didn't know how to be fathers. So we were teaching them that. We did the marriage ministry at the other church. So we brought what we learned from marriage ministry and try to keep the marriages together, because we learned that we were not just trying to have a ministry, but we were making people ready to build the kingdom.
Yes.
We were helping people to learn what God had called them to do, and that they might be able to do God's will.
That's right. There were so many things that God even developed when we were together. Family retreats, family refreshers that we would go on with these people. God made a way. I want to just comment on one thing I thought about with the house of Leah, which was for the ladies. The house of Joe was for the men. And these men were single men looking for direction. So God built from that. And a lot of these men never had father figures. They never had a father. So God helped us to be able to help them to see what it really means to have a family, because they wasn't familiar with any of that. They were raised by single mothers, most of them. So God gave. In other words, whatever God leads you into ministry, he's going to give you a vision of what you need to do to help people, hurting people, people that are lost, people that didn't have families, people that never knew their daddy. So they have to bring, I'm talking about young, strong men, and they would have to know that they need to fend for their families. So God give all kind of creative ideas. During the 10 years that we spent in New Orleans almost, to be able to show how much he loves them. So you have to understand that you're going to be that vessel that God's going to use to bring you into the place where you fit. Your gifting, and that the people, you're not going to relate to everybody. Let me say that clearly. You're going to relate to a certain people that you, and that's what you have to find out. Then you can be effective because they would receive you.
And when it comes to building families, we were talking about that earlier. A lot of the women that came to us, they didn't know how to even maintain a family. Many of them thought that was the way to make sure you got a job, he got a job, and y'all share the responsibilities. And a lot of them, we learned, did not know how to cook. They didn't know how to take care of the house. They didn't know how to take care of no kind of business. And most of all, they didn't know how to submit to a man. So all of these things we had to build and instill in these families so that they can remain strong. And it was definitely a very strenuous time, but it was all good because we knew that we were doing God's will. And these women, a lot of them went on, and they're still in ministry. They still raised their children, and they saw the value of staying at home, keeping their houses so that they can provide a comfortable, nurturing, sustainable place for their children.
You know, I sit here and I think about the business that God gave us, the business places that God gave us, the restaurant at that time, the barber and beauty salon. And the people that worked in that was people that had just got saved and wanted to get away from the worldly way. That they would go to church and had to go to a cussing business where they're doing all kind of sinful things. And so God said, develop a place where they could be able to have livelihood right in the center of being able to be spiritually fed. They would come to work together. And God took it worse. He went into lawn service, car wash, everything that gave them livelihood, nursery, gave them jobs and where they could put their children in and they could be. And then he set us up with a Christian school.
Yes.
In other words, he was doing the body, soul, and mind now. That's what he was doing. He said, and actually there was a sign that said that at the smokehouse restaurant that we had. But it was just to help these people where they could have a firm foundation in the Lord.
Yes.
So you have to find where you're gifted. I'm repeating myself again. That your gift and whatever God has called you to do would be, and how you're going to know it is because it's generated to help the people.
Yes.
Not to just make you wealthy, but it's generated to help the people. Yes, we could have did many things to have stuff we wanted and all, ideas and all those businesses that we'd set up, could have went, but that was to help them.
Yes.
That was to help them to stay stable, their children, and right now today, we got a restaurant going now today, and their children, their children are working at the restaurant right now because they were able to know how to be able to survive even through the tragedies that we've had in today, the pandemic and all the different things. But God has still been good. Glory to his name.
Ministry is something that you have to ask God, the vision for. And the way you find the vision for ministry is with the type of people that God actually sent to you. You cannot, maybe a lot of people think they could do that. I believe God calling me for a ministry. So what I'm going to do is I got this plan. We're going to have this and we're going to have that. We're going to have this and that. You may not even do your mission statement or your vision statement for about 6 months, even a year or so, maybe sometime 2 years before you know what your true vision is, because God is going to put it all into place. So if you got a plan, lay it out, which is okay. You can lay your plan out, but God, trust me, is going to change your plan. So it's very, very wise to just wait and pray. We say right now that we are a prayer conditioned church. That's the only way you're going to find out what God's will is for you, is through prayer. So what we did, we prayed. And as God sent the people, then the ministry began to evolve and began to develop. So that would be our advice to you. Wait on God to give you your vision. Don't go in with your plans all laid out, thinking that it has to go this way and that way. And it's okay to plan, but trust me, you must be willing for God to intervene in your plan.
Thanks for tuning in to our show. Hope you've been blessed.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.
We would like to thank you for watching Ministry Day to Day with Pastor Willie and Minister Claudette Monnet. If you've been blessed by this show, we would like for you to please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so when we post our next episode, you'll be the first to know. Until next week, may God bless you and keep you.